Look, we really need to stop obsessing over raw website traffic. Seriously, you gotta look away from those top of funnel vanity metrics right now. In 2026, chasing pure click volume is just about the fastest way to burn through your entire marketing budget without moving the needle on actual revenue. Welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're tearing down outdated marketing playbooks to understand a really massive paradigm shift. We're talking about the death of 100% inbound marketing and the absolute vital return of full funnel marketing. Let's get right into it. So let me ask you a tough question. Is your inbound marketing broken? For a whole lot of B2B SaaS companies today, well, the answer is a pretty painful yes. You might be publishing incredible content, watching those impressions climb on your dashboards. But if those clicks aren't turning into qualified demos, or if those users are just churning right out after a month, your system is failing.
Let's start with Section 1, the death of pure inbound. Why raw traffic no longer equals revenue.
See, buyer behavior has fundamentally changed. B2B purchasing journeys take literally months of independent research now, which makes isolated tactics, like just writing a few SEO blogs, completely dead in the water. Traditional marketing focuses heavily on chasing low-intent clicks, right? They want to celebrate that single one-time conversion. But SaaS lifecycle marketing, it focuses on the continuous journey. In 2026, marketing doesn't just stop at a basic email capture. It connects acquisition, activation, and long-term retention into one seamless, continuous loop.
This brings us to Section 2, the surging acquisition costs and the painful financial reality of 2026.
Because actually, this shift in buyer behavior is only half the story. The other half is the skyrocketing cost of getting their attention in the first place. $1,200. That is the median customer acquisition cost for B2B SaaS companies right now. It costs over $1,000 just to get a single customer through the door. Why? Well, ad costs have surged exponentially. Google ads are up 164%, and LinkedIn ads are up 89%. Buying your way to growth through paid channels alone, it's becoming entirely unsustainable.
And then there is the payback period. 18 months. You are fronting that $1,200 up front, and then just sitting around waiting a year and a half just to break even on a new customer. Just think about the severe cash flow strain that puts on a scaling business. I mean, if that customer churns in month 9, you have actively lost money. The whole growth at all costs mindset of the past few years is officially gone for good.
So what do we do? Section 3, the return of full funnel marketing. Bridging acquisition, activation, and retention. The only real way out of this high-cost trap is an interconnected system. It's like a giant puzzle where every piece has to fit. We can break this full funnel concept down into 3 really actionable layers. Step 1 is visibility at the top of the funnel. Are people actually finding you? Step 2 is intent and engagement in the middle of the funnel. Are the right people showing genuine interest through things like trials or demos? And step 3 is revenue and retention at the bottom of the funnel. Is marketing actually contributing to monthly recurring revenue and account expansion? The absolutely crucial takeaway here is that beginners stop at layer 1. They pop champagne over traffic and impressions, but professionals, they connect all 3 layers. To survive these soaring acquisition costs we just talked about, true growth requires your marketing team to actively influence user activation and long-term retention. It can't just be about top-of-funnel visibility anymore. Which leads perfectly into Section 4, unifying marketing and sales, and closing the gap in the revenue process. To make this 3-layer funnel actually work, the traditional silos separating your marketing and sales teams have got to be completely dismantled. Look at this quote from our sources, because it hits the nail right on the head. Prospects rarely arrive cold. They come with context, opinions, and expectations. When a buyer finally talks to sales, they are already deeply educated. If a sales rep treats them like a completely cold lead and resets the conversation to 0, it causes massive friction. Sales conversations must build seamlessly upon the education that marketing already provided. So achieving that true alignment requires a few concrete steps. First off, you need a strictly shared ideal customer profile across both teams, no exceptions. Next, utilize behavioral and intent signals directly from your product before doing any outreach. You have to maintain perfectly consistent positioning across every single touchpoint. Crucially, qualify your leads based on use case readiness, not just raw volume. And finally, create continuous feedback loops so sales can tell marketing exactly what objections are actually popping up in real time. Now, Section 5, the power of NRR, the golden metric of 2026. Once your teams are aligned, this is the exact metric separating the companies that thrive from those that are merely surviving. Net revenue retention, or NRR. It measures how much revenue you retain and expand from existing customers over time, which factors in churn, downgrades, and upgrades. I absolutely love the analogy from our sources for this. If annual recurring revenue is the heartbeat of your business, NRR is your cardiovascular fitness. It literally proves your long-term health.
Taking a look at the benchmark data for 2026 is seriously eye-opening. The industry median for NRR sits around 106%, but top performers, they're hitting between 120 and 130%. To put that into perspective, if your NRR is 130%, it means that even if you acquire 0 new customers this entire year, your business still grows by 30% entirely from your existing user base. No way, right? But the data shows companies hitting these top benchmarks grow up to 3 times faster than their competitors.
And this chart reveals exactly why NRR is such a real game changer. For mature scaling companies, specifically those in the $50 to $100 million ARR range, nearly 60% of all new revenue is generated purely from expanding existing accounts. Only 42% comes from net new acquisition. So think about it. If you are spending 100% of your marketing budget acquiring new logos, you are completely ignoring the channel that's driving the majority of your revenue. Let's bring it all together in Section 6, building your growth engine, going from isolated tactics to scalable systems. So how do we take all these expensive acquisition costs and this amazing power of NRR and actually operationalize it? We build a scalable system. The modern playbook demands that you base growth decisions on real data, not just gut feelings. You've got to optimize your user experience to ensure a much faster time to value for the customer. Build brand trust early using use case-driven content. Deploy proactive customer success management to drive that expansion, and prioritize scalable channels that offer healthy lifetime value to CAC ratios. In 2026, sustainable efficiency heavily outpaces growth at all costs. I want to leave you with one final provocative question to think about. Are you just buying traffic, or are you actually building an engine? Buying traffic might make a dashboard look really good today, for sure, but building a connected, full-funnel engine that deeply cares about activation and net revenue retention, that is what makes a business actually thrive. I encourage you to take a hard look at your marketing pipeline this week and ask yourself what really needs to change. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and I really hope this sparked some exciting new ideas for your growth strategy.